Welcome to Performer's Dream. Magician Ty Gallenbeck here. I am the magician for a show we call Mind Blown Telluride in Telluride, Colorado. And these series of videos are all designed to help performers of all kinds, musicians, comedians, magicians, podcasters, YouTubers, anything that is in that kind of performance realm, figure out how to live out their dream as a performer. For the last 8 years, I have been blessed to be able to say that I am a full-time magician. We do about 33 weekends a year in Telluride, and then in the spring and the fall, travel quite a bit to be able to go to other places. So I wanted to put together a series of videos on how to help up-and-coming performers get better and be able to live out their dreams. I almost said get more gigs because that's what I'm going to be talking about today, which really is like the nuts and bolts of all of this when it comes down to it. As a performer, once you have a product, whether that is a 10-minute stand-up bit, a 60-minute magic show, 5 songs, 1 song, whatever it is that you're putting out into the world, whatever art you are creating, once you have that, then it's all about trying to figure out how to get paid for that art. And this is going to be a short video. I'm going to hit kind of 3 or 4 main things that I think are really important. And often I'm surprised when I talk to people about performing that these aren't things that they've either A, heard of, or B, had never thought of this kind of thing. So let's just dive right in. The first one that I'm going to talk about is a couple of websites that I used one of them and still continue to use one of them. The other one didn't really work out, but I know some people that have great results from it. And these are like booking websites that basically act as managers, I don't know, booking agents, whatever you want to call it. They're big, wide net casting type sites that allow you to try to get more gigs. The first one that I still use is a website called gigsalad.com. And these are not sponsored, like Gig Salad doesn't even know I exist in the world. Gig Masters, which is the other one, same thing. These are not sponsored posts by any means. These are just things that I found to be beneficial. Gig Salad, the first one, I use Gig Salad. It's a membership-based website. You sign up, you create a profile. When people search Magicians Colorado, they're going to find in a certain radius, my profile will pop up. Generally, they also have a feature where they can send emails to multiple or a vast array of performers that all kind of fit whatever it is they're looking for. I'm looking for a juggler in Phoenix, Arizona. It's going to go out to 50 jugglers or however many jugglers are in that network. They're all going to get the same email. You all kind of apply for that position. Whoever is booking the gig then hires the person that they think fits the best. So both of these sites have some advantages. They can be great ways for new people to find you. It is, by all accounts, the Walmart of gig getting thing. People are shopping generally for the cheapest person they can get. There is a line there where people will find the best value, where they're looking at what you present and how you're presented based on cost. And you can definitely see with people's websites or their pictures or things like that, kind of where they're at. And so it is definitely a value-based gig booking platform. And so cheaper performers tend to get more gigs on these sites. But for me, it is, I think it's $250 a year for the plan that I have. Don't quote me on that. That could have changed. I still have my subscription up because what it comes down to at my current level is it only takes 1 gig a year for that subscription to make itself worth it. And there's never been a year in probably 12 years of doing Gig Salad that I have lost money on Gig Salad. So it's always paid off as a way to get more gigs. And I think in a lot of small kind of regional areas, it can help kind of expose you to different markets. I know I have a buddy in Las Vegas who uses Gig Masters a lot more. And in the city in Las Vegas, he gets a ton of gigs through Gig Masters. And he gets, I mean, multiple inquiries a week, if not day, looking for a magician. For me, I get maybe 1 gig inquiry a month through Gig Salad. So I'm not getting a lot, but I'm in a very small market. If you're in a bigger market, you're going to get a lot more of these inquiries about people looking to book you for what you do. And I believe if you have a good website, if you have good promo photos, if your product is there and polished, you can look around and find competitive pricing. And if you price yourself well, those two platforms will help you get more gigs. I used it for a while when I was a DJ as well for wedding DJing, and you could book 100 gigs a year as a wedding DJ on there. So there are things that it fits certain niches better. But I think overall for any performer, it's probably worth it for you to take a look at those platforms. Gig Salad and Gig Masters are those two platforms. Check them out. Those have been super helpful for me. For getting gigs, especially early on. I was able to get a lot of super fun gigs regionally in my area that I would have never got without that exposure through those sites. So that's the first two. Those are kind of clumped together. The next one is this, and this attaches itself to Gig Salad and Gig Masters. Whenever you are putting together a quote or a pricing, I think it's super important to have tiered level pricing. And I don't remember where I read this or where I heard this from, but as performers, we are always negotiating contract pricing and negotiating, trying to stay within people's budgets, those kind of things. And so one of the things that I read or heard early on is that if you are ever adjusting your pricing, make sure you're not providing the same thing you were for the original price. For example, if your pricing is $1,000 to do a 1-hour event, and someone says, dang it, my budget for this event is only $750. Okay, that's great. I'm happy to work with you on that, but that's going to be, a 45-minute gig instead of an hour. Now, here's the thing. For me, often I will still provide up into that full experience that I would have provided for the $1,000. But in the mindset, I think it allows you to establish that you're not just sacrificing yourself, your time, your value for people's budgets. They see that you are, cutting back or you are keeping that value the same, and then making adjustments to what it is you're providing. So in my world, it's super easy as a magician. My tiered stuff was the most common one that I've used is above 100 people group for a stage show, below 100 person group stage show, walk around, which is just kind of, table hopping, smaller stuff, can pack in a suitcase, that kind of stuff. And that was always offered as a 1 hour and then each additional hour. So once I'm there, it's this price, but then each additional hour, you could add on at a discounted rate, because once you're there, it's kind of easy. And so what that allowed me to do is that I was able to kind of hit a variety of budgets with a one-page sheet. And actually, I'll pull this up. And I'll go back to one of my older ones, because that will be fun for me to laugh at how things have changed. But I've had a variety of these pricing sheets through the years, and they've all been kind of the same idea. It's a one-page PDF. Let's go 2018. That should be in the middle of kind of where I was at. That's a good one to start with. So 2018, this would be the pricing sheet that I would have sent to all of, like, any inquiry I ever got. This would go to them. So let's see if I can present, share screen. Okay, here we go. Let's pull up maybe window. There it is. So hopefully you can see this now as you're looking at it. So at first, White Town Entertainment, that's kind of the company that I do everything under. That has kind of since gone away and been branded to just my name and Mind Blown Telluride stuff. A little bio, short bio, group of companies that I've worked with in the past. So those are all there. And then this is where it gets into kind of the tiered pricing. So walk around magic, table hopping, 1 hour of walk around was $500, 2 hours of walk around was $750. And actually at this point, I had established that I only did walk around within a 1 hour drive of my location, because I kind of learned that getting booked 5 hours away to only do 1 hour walk around didn't make a lot of sense, even if there was a travel expense built in. This most popular package deal, I put that title on there before I was ever booked for a gig. When I first started doing these, it said most popular package deal. No one had booked one yet, but it was a self-fulfilling prophecy in that this gave the most value for the pricing. And so as you can see, this is a 60-minute stage show for less than 100 people, which that by itself at this point was $1,750. Plus you got 2 hours of walk around, which was $750. So that's actually a $2,500 value for $2,000 in this case. Same thing, stage show for more than 100 people, $2,000. Plus 2 hours of walk around, again, $750. That's $3,250 for $2,500. You're getting a deal based on these pieces. The other thing it allowed is that if you had a budget of $500 or if you had a budget of $2,500, you had something that you could pick off this menu that would fit your budget. So let's see if this goes away. There it is. So that made it easier for me to hit a wide variety of options with a one-page sheet. And I always kind of included a thing. These are my most popular offerings. If you're looking for something else, please let me know, and we will try to make accommodations to make your event as good as possible. So I think that's a good thing to have for any performer. And it may be different. I mean, like I think of like comedians, and that's going to be a tough, you can't not just bring your show. So it could just be timed based, you know, a 15-minute set, a 30-minute set, a 1 hour set. 1 hour being the best thing you offered or whatever. Musicians, there's all sorts of, it could be set. It could be an acoustic show versus a full show, solo show versus full band show, all of those kind of things. Make sure you have those tiers where you can try to adjust to be able to accommodate different people's budgets. So that's that's that. Hopefully that makes sense. We've had a couple of people popping in and out of the live stream. If there's questions or anything, like if this for some reason doesn't make sense, please ask. If you're watching this later and it's not live, put the comments in there. I watch those pretty close, so I'll be able to comment. Make sure you jump over to the Facebook page. I'll post a copy of one of my sales sheets that I send out with emails. And I may post a couple different versions just so you can see how that's changed and tweaked over the years. But it definitely, I know even when I book musicians, a lot of times it always feels so obscure when people like, how much do you charge? And they just throw out a number. That always feels to me like, are you just making this up? Like, are you just pulling this out of the hat and trying to see where it lands? To see if you can get paid that much, or is that really your rate or whatever. And with the sheet, by having that sheet, it just feels like, yep, this is my pricing. No matter who emails me, no matter who reaches out, this is my pricing. And has it cost me money at times? Probably. There's probably people that have sent inquiries and had $10,000 budgets, and they end up hiring me for $3,000 or whatever, $2,500 it was. And so that's probably cost me a little bit money, but I think in the long run, it has definitely landed me more gigs, and makes that process just feel a lot smoother. So the third way that I'm going to say that I think you can land more gigs, especially if you can figure this out early on. I think you could very easily kind of craft this more so than I did when I was doing it early on. But if you can find a niche market that you want to be in, that you like to be in, and you establish yourself in that market early on, and you market yourself within that realm early on, that can also lead to more consistent gigs that you want to perform in, and getting more gigs more frequently. Because a lot of times those kind of people are looking for specific things. By this stage, I have become kind of this ski resort performer. So I do a lot of stuff in Vail, Telluride, Aspen, Salt Lake, Utah, those ski resorts, Park City. We went to Banff a couple of weeks ago, and I'm 100% sure the reason we were hired for the gig in Banff was because I fit the mold of where they were going to be. Small room, 60 people at a higher end ski resort. That's exactly what I do every weekend. And so that made sense to the person who hired me, that I would fit well in that scenario. So as a musician, if it's bars, or if it's more lounge music, or whatever that is, if you can find that niche and try to create that niche early on, I think that can help you get more gigs as well. Here's the other thing I will say with this: do not be above creating two separate channels. So have a wide berth, try to get gigs from everywhere with this advertising, and then create a separate marketing scheme that is just towards that niche market. Same person, two very different ways of approaching what you're presenting to the world. Have those tiered systems in both of them. Have sales sheets in both of them. Use Gig Salad and Gig Masters in both of them. There's no limit to how many accounts you can have on either of those sites. So you can actually set up accounts in various locations, which we have played with a little to minimal success as far as using multiple cities. But I could see if you set up this is my performance for school shows, and target just that aspect with this profile. And then on another profile, have a more broad spectrum kind of way you present yourself. I think those can be very advantageous to being able to get more gigs and landing more gigs successfully. So I think that's it. Thank you to anybody that tuned in for this. It was kind of last minute. I've been on the road for like 3 weeks, and then I needed to just get some stuff done at the house. So didn't have a ton of time to be able to do this. Such is the life of a performer. But I appreciate tuning in, watching, share this with your friends. Tag people if you know people that are trying to become performers at any level, musicians, comedians. I say this over and over. Make sure you share this with them, like and subscribe on the channel. That helps out a ton. And if you are a performer, make sure you go click the link in the description or search Performer's Dream on Facebook. We're trying to create a special community over there for performers to share ideas and share tips and tricks on how to become more successful. I think there's plenty of gigs out there for all of us. And so I love just being able to see good art being put into the world. So thank you again, Ty Gallenbeck. Until next time on Performer's Dream, I hope this helps you land more gigs until the next time. So have a great day. We'll see you guys later. Awkward moment where